Hi, Bob Petrakis, vlogging Truth to Power at the Columbus Free Press and freepress.org. Tuesday was election day. I'm speaking here on Saturday. The Columbus Dispatch did some real reporting on the problems endemic to e-voting. Usually the Dispatch doesn't do a good job in this area. But fortunately, on page 1B of the November 8th, 2007 Dispatch, there was an article which referred to a judicial candidate, J. Perez, who was on the ballot. Now, what's interesting is that Mr. Perez tried to withdraw from the ballot on September 26th. He was an unendorsed Democrat. He ended up with 7% of the vote in a race where the endorsed Democrat lost to the Republican candidate by 5 percentage points. Hence, had J. Perez been allowed to withdraw from the ballot, it's very likely a Democrat would have won that Franklin County judicial seat. But that's not the key area of concern here. What's of concern is what the Dispatch writes, which is factually true, which isn't always the case with the Dispatch, where they write that BOE officials essentially told them, and I quote here, "While the election machines are high-tech, election officials say they are less nimble at permitting last-minute corrections than the old machines." You heard me right. You heard it even in the Dispatch. Franklin County election officials told the Dispatch, while the election machines are high-tech, touchscreen, bells and whistles, the election officials said they are less nimble at permitting last-minute corrections than the old machines. More important, and here's the key paragraph in the Dispatch article of November 8, 2007 on page 1B. The article goes on to say one of the most damning things I've seen in print in mainstream corporate newspapers ever. The most damning things about election machines, e-voting machines. And here's the quote. This is the key quote. Election officials from other counties confirm that pulling a candidate's name after the database had been sent could shift the ballot, : candidates' names might no longer align with the tally of votes. Let's read this again slowly. Election officials, and I'm quoting here, this is in the Columbus Dispatch, election officials from other counties confirm that pulling a candidate's name after the database has been sent could shift the ballots. Candidates' names might no longer align with the tallies of votes. This is what we've been telling you at the Columbus Free Press, at the freepress.org. This is called recalibration. These machines don't always line up. And this is what happened in the 2004 election, when vendors and their technicians came in from ES&S, came in from Diebold, came in from other groups like Triad, other for-profit organizations, and at the last second tweaked the central tabulators, tweaked the machines with new software and hardware. So the Dispatch is actually broken with the mainstream media silence, which often would call these things computer glitches. They're not glitches. They're inherent flaws in the DREs, in the electronic voting system. They often would call them, quote, recalibration. That's a euphemism for vote flipping. You vote for Kerry, it flips the Bush. It's not recalibration. It's corruption of the voting process. It's vote flipping. It's machines getting your vote wrong. In 2006, this vote flipping cost Carol Squires the election as domestic relations judge in Franklin County. Uncertified hardware and software was added at the last second to the voting machines after their database and their ballot definition had been set. Hence, more than 30,000 votes were never recorded because of these last-minute additions. 30,000 in areas that were overwhelmingly Democratic, that likely would have gone to Carol Squires. In 2004, again, ES&S, Debacle, Triad, they sent their technicians throughout the state, tweaking these machines, new software, new hardware, patches, at the last second. And then Bush unexpectedly wins. People coming out of the voting booth told the pollsters in the exit polls that they had voted for Kerry, that Kerry was winning 51-48. But when these recalibrated machines sent in the final vote, the exact opposite was true. It was Bush 51-48. Virtually an impossible shift. The exit polls are never more than 0.2% wrong. Suddenly, they're nearly 7% wrong, well more than 6% wrong. The exit polls weren't wrong. The voting machines were wrong. Why? Because election officials from other counties confirmed that pulling a candidate's name after the data bank has been sent could shift the ballot. Candidates' names, and I'm quoting here, candidates' names might no longer align with the tally of votes. E-voting is destroying American democracy. I'm Bob Fitrakis, vlogging Truth to Power at thefreepress.org.